evening. I'm Ivy Reyes. Today on Newsfeed Weekend. United States Senator Bernie Sanders has slammed President Donald Trump's unilateral decision to strike Iran, calling it a gross violation of the U.S. Constitution. Speaking at a rally in Oklahoma, Sanders stressed that only the U.S. Congress has the authority to declare war, not the president. The statement comes after Trump announced a successful military strike on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo, claiming that Tehran's nuclear program had been obliterated. Trump made the announcement from the Oval Office, describing the operation as a spectacular military success. He added that Iran must now agree to end this war. U.S. media reports say 6 bunker buster bombs were dropped on the Fordo facility, while 30 Tomahawk missiles targeted the other sites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the attack and called it a decision that will change history. As tensions escalate, questions continue to mount over the legality of the strikes and the potential for the wider conflict in the region. Amid Israel's praise, Iran has strongly condemned the United States' military strikes on its nuclear sites, calling the action a flagrant and unprecedented violation of international law. In a statement released by its foreign ministry, Tehran said it reserves the right to defend itself with all its might against what it described as U.S. military aggression. The statement added that the attack comes in the middle of ongoing diplomatic efforts, accusing the U.S. of starting a dangerous war that threatens global and regional security. Iran is now calling on the United Nations and the International Atomic Energy Agency to take urgent action. In a letter addressed to the UN Security Council, Ambassador Amir Saeed Iravani strongly condemned the strikes, calling them a grave threat to regional and international peace. Ambassador Iravani accuses Israel, a non-signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, of maintaining undeclared nuclear weapons and repeatedly attacking nuclear facilities in the region. Iran insists that its own facilities remain peaceful and under full monitoring by the International Atomic Energy Agency. The letter urges the UN Security Council to immediately convene an emergency meeting to address what it calls a savage and criminal act, and to ensure that the U.S. is held fully accountable. The U.S. strikes following days of escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, with American forces targeting 3 of Iran's major nuclear sites over the weekend. As tensions between Israel and Iran escalate, the Philippine government steps up its effort in repatriation. 8 Filipinos from Iran and over 24 from Israel are set to return home this week. The DFA says it's all ready to assist all Filipinos affected by the conflict. Joan Manalo has the story.
8 Filipinos from Iran are set to arrive in the Philippines on Thursday as part of the repatriation efforts of the Department of Foreign Affairs. This is amid the ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega says 6 of them are OFWs and 2 are tourists. Meanwhile, 26 OFWs and 1 Filipino tourist are also being repatriated from Israel. They are expected to arrive in the country by Monday or Tuesday this week. De Vega says the Philippine government is prepared to receive the repatriates.
Every time may inuuwing repatriates from abroad, not just the Middle East, sinasalubong sila at minsan doon mismo sa airport, binibigyan ng cheque na it depends, 50,000 sometimes or maybe 100,000 pesos pa.
Apart from the financial aid, medical assistance will also be provided to them if needed. The OWA is also in charge of sending home repatriates to their provinces. With the tensions ongoing, De Vega reminds Filipinos to make sure their passports are still valid and renewed so they can be transported home immediately. Meanwhile, De Vega also commented on U.S. President Donald Trump's tweet highlighting that now is the time for peace.
We don't have to read between the lines. The Israeli government themselves said they will not stop until they are sure that Iran's capability to build a nuclear bomb has been vanquished, has been destroyed. So if President Trump says that, maybe that's what he means. When he says, now is the time for peace, then they will talk. Because Iran has been sending overtures that they're willing to go back to talking peace with the U.S.
He adds that if what Trump says is true, then it would be great for the safety of Filipinos in these conflict areas. The DFA also welcomes this act of talking peace, as it is also their call amid the ongoing Israel-Iran war. As tensions continue to escalate between Israel and Iran, the DFA is set to repatriate 32 more Filipinos from Israel, marking the second batch of its ongoing repatriation efforts. Joan Manalo, Billionario News Channel.
Over the weekend, with two of the highest officials of the Philippines flying out of the country, the government was left to Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella and Deputy Secretary Sonny Angara. Secretary Angara hiked up 2 mountains to reach a last-mile school or education facilities located in remote areas. At Datu Saldong Domino Elementary School in Agusan del Norte, DepEd partnered with DICT to bring solar-powered energization and internet connection. Laptops were also granted to the school. Meanwhile, DAR granted 3 million worth of modern farming machineries to farmers of Bato, Leyte. The president was in Japan for an official business visit, while the vice president was on a personal trip to Melbourne, Australia. PBBM reaffirmed strong and growing ties between the Philippines and Japan as he met with members of the Filipino community in Osaka. He highlighted the significance of the 70th anniversary of Philippine-Japan diplomatic relations. The president's visit to Osaka is also part of the country's preparations for the World Expo 2025, where the Philippines is set to showcase its culture, innovation, and global contributions. Vice President Sara Duterte is alleging foreign interference in the Philippine elections. Speaking at the Free Duterte Now event in Australia, Duterte said she's in talks with political allies and PDP Laban on how to improve the country's electoral system, following the outcome of the recent midterm polls.
That is what we are working on, and that is what we are pushing for with our senators that are allied with the political party of President Duterte. Discuss ways where we can improve on the election. There is some sort of foreign interference and influence in Philippine government and political affairs. And yes, as I said, we're discussing with senators, particularly Senator Amy Marcos, on how we can make sure that election results are credible.
She said they aim to start these reforms with the upcoming Bangsamoro parliamentary elections. Duterte has earlier claimed electoral fraud in the midterm elections following the loss of some PDP Laban candidates. She insisted that Jimmy Bondoc, J.V. Hinlo, and Richard Mata should have won, pointing to their high overseas vote counts. The vice president also appeared to take a swipe at House Speaker Martin Romualdez in response to an audience member from Miss Bailiwick, Tacloban City in Leyte.
Tacloban, kayo ang dahilan kung bakit nagkakaproblema ang representative. Kayo talaga naman. Dahil sa inyo, magulo ang House of Representatives.
Filipino musicians compete at Fête de la Musique celebration in France. Our Europe correspondent Dick Villanueva has the story.
Summer in France comes with the annual celebration of Fête de la Musique, a prestigious music festival in the country. Part of the annual tradition is music being aired every street corner, plaza, bar and restaurant. The music festival began in June 21, 1982 by the Ministry of Culture in France. To give away the professional and amateur musicians, this has been imitated in about 120 other countries. One venue where more than 30 Filipino musicians performed in the Igor Stravinsky Square. The mixed audience had fun dancing with Pinoy rock and roll, pop and rap.
It's my second time. Very good atmosphere to see all these Filipinos in Paris. Feels really at home.
This is the 18th year the Pinoy Jam Group in Paris joins Fête de la Musique. For them, it is more than just performing, but their little way of sharing Filipino music and culture in the annual festival. Dick Villanueva, Billionaire News Channel, Paris, France.
Pope Leo warned against threats posed by artificial intelligence anew. In a speech before world leaders, AI isn't supposed to replace humans, the Pope said. He added the static memory of AI will never be at par with the creative, dynamic power of the human mind. Quoting the Pope, our personal life has greater value than any algorithm. A recent study from MIT says continued dependency on AI leads to cognitive decline. Through an EEG, researchers found that ChatGPT users eventually grew lazier and have since performed worse in rural, linguistic, and behavioral areas. A stunning natural display lit up the skies recently just in time for Pride Month. Facebook user Jomar Malubay captured photos of iridescent clouds, bright, colorful formations that look like a rainbow painted across the sky. Iridescent clouds are relatively rare and short-lived. They form when uniform droplets or ice crystals in thin clouds scatter sunlight at just the right angle. The result? A vibrant spectrum of colors that symbolize nature's own kind of pride. As the world celebrates Pride Month, this spectacle in the sky serves as a reminder that beauty, diversity, and color exist not just in our communities, but in nature too. And before we go, Filipinos Lumpia queen Ivy Marquez meets the DC Super Crew. In a social media post Saturday, the food content creator poses with Superman stars David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, as well as film director James Gunn. Lumpia Queen with a Super Crew, Marquez wrote. Marquez took home the title for Food Content Creator of the Year at the 2025 World Influencers and Bloggers Awards. Meanwhile, Superman premieres in theaters on July 9. It also features X-Men star Nicholas Hoult, Aporia actor Eddie Gathegi, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid star Neva Hodwell. And those are the news at this hour. I'm Ivy Reyes. Stay tuned to Billionaire News Channel. Good evening.